Hello, my creative friend, Olga Savi here, and welcome to a new fluid art creation process. Today, I continue my exploration of fall season through my fluid paintings, and just recently I did a painting with fall foliage inspired colors, sort of this beautiful vibrant gradient of the fall, and I think it worked amazing. But today, it's gonna be a little different theme. So I wanna do autumn sun inspired painting. It's gonna be a little bit of abstraction and not abstraction. Right now, I'm kind of working on shaping up. I'm really digging this color combination. I don't know, I have this concept, this idea, and I will guide you through it step by step. Working on pretty big canvas, it's 30 inches by 48. I got all of my colors ready, and without further ado, let's get started. Dream big is a secret message for today's painting, and I wrote it this way because I plan this to be the layout. And for my background, I'm gonna use very interesting color. It's a mix of, it's basically gray and blue. So black, white, and some blue, and it's more muted. So I want it to be for a more night sky or the dawn sky. So it's very muted blue color. And I think my orange and gold colors will look just amazing on this background. I've been really exploring some of the neutrals or close to neutral colors, and yeah, I think I'm onto something with this. So for this size of the canvas, speaking about this painting, if you ever wonder how much paint you need to cover your size of the canvas, I have acrylic pouring calculator tool that is designed exactly for that. You just enter the size, the width, the depth, and the length, and it will give you approximately the number of the paint in milliliters of fluid ounces that you need to cover that size of the canvas. So for example, for this one, it's 30 by 48, I need roughly 1.5 liters of paint to cover the size. And so it's gonna be roughly 1.5 of these because they each fit 1 liter. I mixed more because I know myself, sometimes I tilt off or scrape off, and I like to have a little bit extra. But to begin with, that's exactly how much I'm going to pour out. It's roughly it. So my recommendation is use this calculator as a guideline, but it's a good idea to have some extra on the side just in case, at least for your base color. And I added my tape dome because I decided that I want to tilt my base today instead of swiping or blowing. I want to tilt it out. And the tape will prevent having too much waste to drips. I honestly should have painted the sides for this painting, pre-painted sides of my canvas, but I just forgot, and then I felt like painting and I didn't want to wait because when you pre-paint the sides, it's very important to let them dry before you pour. Otherwise they might peel off, and I did not feel like waiting. So I will take care of my sides during the painting, but also once the painting is dry. You can always go back and touch them up. It's usually what I do anyway. And because it's a custom mix color, if you look closer, you can kind of see some shades of blue and black and gray inside of it. I did not overmix it completely intentionally because I kind of wanted to have a little bit of this color diversity, I should say, inside of my base. They're all very closely mixed to each other, but not ideal. I think it will give it a little bit more dimension in this piece. Okay, so as you can see, the measurement is actually very accurate. This is exactly amount of paint that I need to cover it fully. It will also be a little bit for the sides, and there is still like enough paint on the canvas, so the base layer is not too thin, because if it's too thin, it's kind of difficult to blow over it because the paint can get stuck. So this is perfect. So the measurement is accurate, and you're welcome to use that calculator as well for your canvases. And now I'm gonna remove the tape, and some of the paint will drip down. I'm not gonna tilt at this stage. I don't think there is a need. Oh, my dome did not hold up all of the paint. Look at that. A little bit of spillage, but that's okay. No big deal. So, moody sky and autumn sun. This is the vibe today. And the main part that will actually represent the sun will be later, once the pouring blowout part is fully dry. Oh my gosh, can't speak today. Once it's dry, I will add the embellishment. But even for my blowout, I want to work with colors that will be lots of white and gold. I actually prepared not gold, but more like a bronze-ish color. I think it will look very, very nice in this painting. And of course, bronze, it does have that vibe of the fall season. So like I said, it's going to be vertical, and I want to create a flow that will have very distinct center part in the corner, and I want it to be more, not in the corner, in the center. I want it to be more narrow, and then it will fan out towards the top, towards the bottom. Something like this. And this is just titanium white. This color here is a mix of yellow, orange, and white. This is sort of muted warm color. Not muted, it's tinted. Now the hero of this painting, it's this sort of bronzish, goldish color. It's very warm gold or orange. This one here is a mix of titanium white with a little bit of red and orange. So it's very close to all the colors that I have on my canvas already. But yeah, it's a little bit lighter, but from the same sort of family. A little bit of white. And a little bit white again. It's from different group. I also feel like I want to add a bit more of base color inside of this section just to help me blow it out. This is gonna be interesting. Let's get to it. I lost quite a bit. I added more base color and I added too much of it. Ooh, cells are pretty though. Oops. I mean, I don't know. I like it and don't like it at the same time. I don't know if it's gonna do anything, but let's see. I am really digging this color combination. Much more muted blue than I usually do. And you will see why I kept so much space in the center here. Look at all these cells, so beautiful. Of course, all the colors are mixed with my new recipe. And I don't use Floetrol, I don't use silicone. I'll use 3 simple ingredients and they give this amazing result. One of those 3 ingredients, by the way, is water. To bring it down, right now I'm kind of working on shaping up the blowout, so the main shape is created, but I want to, it was too symmetrical and I usually don't like to go for a very symmetrical look, so unless it's space art, but yeah. So for this one I'm just keep adding in little movement, keeping in mind that I will have additional design here, so I don't want to cover that up. Well, I am very happy with my composition for now. There's still more work to do. I'm even more happy with all the blasts of cells. And the best part that a lot of them are metallic, so they will shine so beautiful. Like, I think it's just like a collection of gemstones or something like this. It's really cool. And I see it especially against the light, and you will see what I mean once the painting is fully dry, because you will see that beautiful metallic shine. So I'm gonna let it dry pretty soon, but before I do that, I want to do some finger swipes. You know, I'm pretty happy with the bottom part, but I feel like I did mess up the top part. Oh, with my finger swipes, I did not do the best job at this time. I think I want to reblow it. I already like it better. Kind of like this part. I don't know if I want to redo it. This part here is a little too overblown. You know what? I did it again and I am so glad that I did, because I like it way, way better. And it's just much more balanced now. And I think I'm pretty much done. I just want to add a couple splatters of gold in my negative space to re-emphasize the movement, and we'll be ready for the next stage. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Once the painting had dried, I looked at it for a while and I ended up changing my initial plan with embellishment a little bit. So now I want to touch up and correct the blowout in its core, so in the center, to create a feeling that it was sort of twisting and turning in this section. You will see exactly what I mean just in a moment as it starts coming together. And adding this correction will help me make composition more dynamic and enhance the movement that I had created initially with my blowout. But the main goal of this touch-up, of adding this element, adding this turn to my flow, is to symbolize the transformation in nature, the turn and the change of season, because the late autumn sun, this time of the year, really brings it to nature with shorter days and less heat. And I am correcting a few other sections here and there, of course, wherever I want to add a little bit more definition. And for this entire embellishment process, I'm using the same exact fluid acrylics and colors that I used for the painting itself. This is why everything matches so perfectly. After the touch-up and composition enhancement, I decided to use the spray paint again. Oh my god, this has been a real passion of mine recently. And for this painting, I want to use a bit more gold, and I'm using it very strategically, so not everywhere, but just in a few sections to give this flow a beautiful golden glow and to emphasize movement even more. It's almost time for the final reveal, and if you would like to learn more about masking materials that I use for this part of the painting, check out a new article on my website called 7 Extraordinary Supplies to Level Up Your Fluid Painting. I will leave a link for you in the description. The final step before varnishing. I am signing the painting, and at this time, it's a bit different. I want my signature to be almost invisible and really blend into the design by using the same or close colors with just a touch of shine. Here is the very final look. At this time, I decided to use only matte varnish because I used so much metallic shine in this painting, and I want my finish to be more subtle, to balance it out, so that it speaks but doesn't scream, if you know what I mean. Oh, look at all these beautiful cells and lacing. And thanks to the blowing technique, I was able to achieve so much movement. And if you would also like to get better with Dutch pour blowouts and want to master the consistency, the right consistency for this technique and other techniques, make sure to check out my consistency cheat sheet and free consistency masterclass. The link will also be for you in the description. And please let me know what do you think about my outcome, and especially about the transformation that I was able to achieve with the additional layers and embellishments and touch-ups. I just really love this movement, it really speaks to me. Well, I would love to hear from you. What do you think? Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments below this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care and create with passion. Bye bye!